Happy December if you're listening to this in real time. Hope everyone in the US had a great Thanksgiving and hopefully you were off on Friday too. So you had a nice long weekend. I took an extra day off. So I had a 5-day weekend where I played catch up on all things. Sometimes mamas just need a break, and this mama definitely needed one. And I threw in some self care in there. I got to take that bath that I've been talking about a lot lately. And I hope you're listening to my advice and making self care a priority in the next few weeks and really just taking time to sit back and enjoy the season. And we're not using the excuse that we are too busy or there are just too many things going on. You have plenty of time in your week. You're just wasting it. And your biggest time waster is your cell phone. So put them down unless you are trying to capture a beautiful memory you are making with your family. And to help you set better boundaries with your cell phones, I have an awesome and free tech timeout guide for moms. The link to grab your copy is in the show notes, so check it out. But today, we are switching gears a bit and going into work mode, which I don't like to go in work mode unless I'm in work. But we're talking about also one of my least favorite topics, year-end reviews. I don't think I've ever met anyone that actually likes doing them. In fact, most people dread doing them. So today, I wanted to share my tips on how to tackle your year-end review. So let's get started.
Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life.
I know I've been talking a lot about the holidays, but there is another important season we're approaching, and it's one that most people dread. I know I do. It's the year-end review season. That time of year when you have to basically tell your manager how great you are. It can feel awkward and not so fun, but today I wanted to share my tips on how to make your review stand out and make the process a little easier. So let's jump in. You're going to start with preparation. First, you're going to gather evidence, review your goals, projects, any feedback you got from the year, collect any metrics, reports, or examples that really illustrate your performance. If anyone gave you kudos during the year, any awards, any great jobs, the more data, facts, and numbers you can put in your review, the better. A big part of my job is managing people, and one of my greatest strengths is people development. So I always highlight the number of promotions and new talent I brought into the company in the year. So that's something you can think about if you're a manager. If you saved money, how much money or what percentage? If you brought in sales, how much? What growth did you have? Think of it in that lines. Anything you can quantify. And understand how your organization evaluates performance and align your review to those standards. Most companies offer a training on how to complete your year-end review, so make sure you watch it and take notes on anything that might help you out. And if you don't already do it, create a folder in your email or in your OneNote for year-end reviews and any kudos, thank yous, or documents that will help you in your year-end review. Pop it in that folder or OneNote so that way you don't have to spend time when you're actually doing your mid-year review or end-of-year review looking for backup. It might not help you with this season, but it'll definitely help you next year. Number 2, highlight your accomplishments. A not so fun fact: women often downplay their accomplishments using less assertive language compared to men. I know I'm guilty of that too. You don't want to seem like you're bragging about all the great things you did, but you also don't want to sell yourself short. If I've learned anything in my 20 plus years in corporate America, you need to be your own advocate, and your manager does not remember half of the great things you did this year or know about the little things that you've done that made a big difference. So focus on your results rather than the activities. For example, instead of saying, I attended weekly team meetings, say, I contributed to streamlining team workflows, reducing project delays by X percent. Include metrics or specific examples to quantify your impact wherever you can. Like I said before, if you save the money, how much? But how did you do it? Did you make a process more efficient? Did you save time, energy, headaches? Talk about it. Whatever you did, no matter how little you think it is, put it in there. Brag about yourself. Number 3, use the STAR method. Where you can, structure your accomplishments using the STAR framework. What is the STAR framework? It is when you pick the situation, you talk about the task, the action you took, and what the result was. So here's an example of something you could write. In response to an increase in customer complaints, that's your situation, I developed a new training program for support staff. That's your task. I led 3 workshops. That's your action, resulting in 20% improvement in customer satisfaction scores. That's your result. You see what we did there? We broke it down with your situation, which was the customer complaints, your task, you developed a new training, your action, you led the 3 workshops, and your result, you improved customer satisfaction by 20%. So, using the STAR method really shows how you identified and addressed a problem. It highlights your leadership skills and shows your manager you are able to think independently, which, as a manager, I am telling you, is huge. Number 4, be honest about challenges. Reflect on areas where you face challenges, but frame it constructively. Share what you've learned and how you plan on improving or opportunities for process improvement. That's a huge one, too. So here's an example of something that you could write. While managing completing deadlines, I identified the need for better delegation. I've since adopted a prioritization tool that has improved my time management, and delegating has given the team exposure to more complex tasks, which expands their skill set. So, you see what I did there? You could have left it as you improved your time management, but you also threw in how you are developing other people by assigning them work tasks. By the way, if you are ever stuck on how to word things, put your thoughts and what you were trying to convey in an AI tool like ChatGPT and ask them to rewrite it for you. A lot of companies are now offering these types of tools to help make their teams more efficient. It's amazing, it's great, and really scary at the same time, but use the tools available. Number 5, align with your organizational goals, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. So try to connect your contribution to your broader company objectives. This shows that you understand and you support your company's mission. For example, you could write, my efforts in optimizing our social media campaign directly contributed to the company's goal of increasing online engagement by 25% this year. So you took your company's goal of increasing online engagement and you wrote how you supported that goal. If you aren't able to align to your larger company goals, then think about your particular group's goals and what part you played in helping them achieve those goals. Number 6, be objective and balanced. Try to avoid overinflating your achievements or downplaying challenges. A balanced tone really adds credibility. And sometimes your company gives you specific goals at the beginning of the year, but priorities change or something happens where you're not able to achieve those goals. So when it comes time to address them in your year end review, you really have no clue what to write. You could try to speak to your manager about that goal and how he or she feels you should address it. Or if you're not comfortable speaking to your manager about that, because I know a lot of people are not, try to acknowledge the goal and the challenge or situation that affected the ability to achieve the goal and what you accomplished instead. So, for example, if you weren't able to complete a specific project, you could say, one of my initial goals was to complete X project by whatever deadline. However, due to shifting company priorities that required focusing on whatever other initiative you had to focus on, I redirected my efforts. While whatever it was wasn't fully completed, I contributed to whatever the new initiative was, which successfully achieved whatever results those achieved. Hopefully, I didn't completely confuse you there, but it's basically fill in the blanks. Number 7, show growth and proactive learning. Highlight any new skills you've acquired, certifications you've earned, or ways that you've stepped outside of your comfort zone. If you took it upon yourself to take any courses or trainings, whether inside or outside of work, add it in there. I always break out my ending kind of statement into different categories. I have accomplishments and highlights. I have staff development because I pride myself on the amount of promotions I'm able to give in a year. And I always add a section for personal and professional development because I am an avid learner and I am always taking courses or trying to learn a new skill. Like this year, I'm putting in there that I completed a course on how to create a training course. I'm using that skill set outside of work, but I also plan to use it inside of work to create mini trainings to help develop my team. Maybe you took an Excel course or some course on whatever technology your company uses. AI courses are huge now. And honestly, if you want to stay with the times, take a course on AI. I know a lot of people are hesitant. It took me a long time to get into the fact that AI is a thing and that everyone is using it. It does really make life easier and can make your job easier, but there is an ethical component to overuse. But it's really in your best interest to stay up to speed with its capabilities and how you can use it in your day to day job. So that's my little spiel on AI. But I also wanted to note as a manager, I am totally okay with people that are happy in their role and don't want to move up or go for promotions. But here's a caveat: I'm okay with it as long as you're doing your job and you're doing it very well, and you're taking the opportunities to learn new skills on how to do your job better. There is always room for improvement, especially with technology. Things are always changing. So, being proactive about taking classes and learning how to use and navigate new technology is really big. On the flip side, if you do want to go for that promotion, then make sure you're showing a few areas where you grew this year. Being able to highlight where you took that initiative to develop your own skill set is huge, and managers do notice that. Number 8, set future goals. It's really great to end your review by outlining a few goals you have for yourself next year, like focusing on areas of growth or how you plan to contribute to the company's overall success. Think of skill sets you need to make it to the next level or to that job you're eyeing, and make sure you throw something in there that lets your manager know that you are interested in growing and an idea of how you will get that added skill set. When you have it in your year end review, it allows you to talk about it when you actually sit down for review without feeling awkward because it's already in there. It's not like you have to sit there to try to figure out how you're going to organically throw it in the conversation. Number 9, run your review through an AI tool like ChatGPT. This is not something I've done in the past, but because AI and rewrite has become a thing in the corporate world, I really don't see any issues with taking your review and running it through an AI tool of your choice to see if it has rewording suggestions. I personally write my review out on a Word document to gather all my thoughts first before I put it into our system. So you could totally do that. If you want to write your review on your personal computer first, you could do that too, and then email it to your work computer. And again, you're putting it through an AI tool after you write it. So it's your own thoughts and your own words. You're just adding a prompt into the AI saying, can you make this more professional tone, or can you rewrite this so it sounds better, or whatever prompt you want to give it. But play around with different sections, different prompts, and see what suggestions it spits out and adjust your review where you see fit. And last, number 10, proofread and keep it professional. Always proofread before you hit that submit button. And again, this is your one opportunity to tell whoever is reading it how great you are and basically why you should get that bonus or get that promotion. You want to ensure that your review is clear, that it's concise, and most importantly, free of errors. You want to make sure that you have a professional tone throughout it, even when discussing challenges, actually, especially when you're addressing challenges. You don't want to sound disgruntled or angry. Even if you are, you want to swing everything in a positive tone. If you have the opportunity, have your spouse or partner proofread it too. They may read it in a different tone than you and can offer suggestions to reword things. I always have Ross read mine, and most of the time he does offer suggestions because I might read something with the positive tone in my head, but you never know how someone's approaching your year in review or what mood they're in, and they may read it differently. And another not so fun fact: men often view self reviews as an opportunity to advocate for promotions or raises, where women tend to approach them more as a self reflection. So keep that in mind. This is your opportunity to sell yourself. Consider it your brag sheet and your pitch to sell your amazingness to your manager or whoever is deciding what bonuses you should get or where your next move is. Well, I hope you found this episode helpful and you are motivated to write that year in review and tell your manager how amazing you are. If you have any year in review tips that you would like to share, head on over to our Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms, and tell us all about it. If you don't already follow the show, take a second and hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes, and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories, and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life. Or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.